EURUSD has been pushing up higher this London session despite the overall downside push yesterday during New York. Now we're going to dive into why EURUSD is pushing up higher and much more in today's video. Good morning guys, it's Fabio and thank you for being back here on the channel. We're going to dive into euro dollar and then obviously the other major dollar pairs and of course gold. Now first of all, the European Union's 27 member states have given initial approval to $150 billion or billion euro defense budget to distribute money to countries investing in security capabilities, pushing the euro overall up higher, but also European stocks have been on the rise. Furthermore, President Trump's phone call with Vladimir Putin revealed that Trump's previous call for a 30-day ceasefire in Ukraine was misplaced, with no sanctions threat, timeline or pressure on Putin at all, further aiding to a weaker dollar overall. Now, I was actually expecting gold to push up higher based on that last news announcement, but gold has still been slightly slow, as we can see here on this chart. This morning we've been pushing down lower, but that and much more later. Let's start off with EURUSD as normal, because euro dollar itself is still obviously inside of this area of daily supply right over here. Now I've been still looking for that further downside push. After yesterday's 4-hour fractal structure shift, I was actually looking for some further downside, to be very honest. What we can see here on the 4-hour chart actually is that we came above this high over here, which is your 4-hour fractal break. Now at that point in time I was looking for the market to continue pushing down lower to kind of mirror that overall news push up all the way back in towards the downside. However, what we can now see here is that this overall sell before the buy is in control and pushing the market up higher. Therefore, yesterday I did not get into any sell positions at all, and I'm happy that I didn't, because we can very clearly see that the overall demand is in control right over here. When we tapped into a daily area of demand, what you can see is that this daily sell before the buy imbalance, whatever you want to call it, has been pushing the market up higher. Now once we came into that daily area of demand on the 4-hour time frame, you can very clearly see here that we got that 4-hour fractal structure shift with the push down, pull back, push down, aggressive reversal in towards the highs, the retracement, aggressive reversal in towards the highs, the retracement, and again the overall demand zone is still in control. And you can see the sell before the buy over here, that is what we tapped into and then reversed from, and now again the overall sell before the buy over here is what we tapped into and where we reversed from. So again, let's not get too early into sell positions, because at the time this supply zone over here didn't weigh up against this demand zone, as the overall fractals were in control in towards the upside. So now what we do is that we just simply said wait. We wait for the overall fractal structure to shift in our favor. So what could, for example, happen is that we still see another push up. That would be actually good, because then the fractal low becomes over here. Then we wait for the fractal low to shift. That would also be, for example, a third trendline touch, and then we go short on that third trendline touch with the tap into that supply zone in towards the downside, which would then be in line, and again my chart is a little bit messy now, but would be in line with the daily bearish fractal as well, this being your current fractal high, this being your fractal low, because the price doesn't need to push in towards the downside from this current area of supply right that we're currently in. Yes, we have a nice area of supply with this thing over here, with this buy before the sell candle, but as you can see, we've been in it for such a long time. I'm not expecting a lot of it, and I would not be surprised if we do see that next push up higher, grab some more liquidity before looking for any further sell positions. Okay, so that is EURUSD. Going into the dollar index, we can see that the dollar itself has also been pushing down lower. Again, not a lot to be seen here. Yesterday on the 4-hour time frame, in the London session, I was expecting for us to take out this low over here. So we took out that low, and now what we were looking for was a retracement up higher, at least kind of like in towards this supply zone. As you can see, we've more just kind of like reacted to this support and resistance level, which is now pushing the market down lower. But again, wouldn't really mind, to be honest. Let's see if we can take out this low again. Then this here becomes the fractal high instead of this fractal high, and then as soon as that fractal high were to break again, that would be for me the confirmation for dollar longs. For now, the overall immediate order flow here on the dollar is bearish, so let's not yet get into those EURUSD or GBPUSD sells, because the dollar still has the potential to push a little bit lower. Again, as I've been mentioning as well for quite some time, as long as this current fractal low over here holds, I am still interested in longs, even with this demand zone over here being invalidated or being ignored. So we can still push down a lot lower and still be bullish on the dollar index. But obviously, as soon as the dollar breaks its current fractal low here on the daily, that is when I'll be shifting my bias into more short positions on the dollar itself. Now, going into AUDUSD, AUDUSD should be pushing up higher. Let's see. to be honest, still very slow. Kind of surprised, as we can see, very consolidative. That's also why I'm just not really trading this pair at this point in time. We obviously have this as your area of demand. Also, if we look at the fractals, we know that this here is the fractal low, and that is being respected, and that here we have the fractal high. So overall, still daily fractal bullish, and we're still looking for that daily liquidity swing high here with the X to get taken out. So overall, looking for that further upside on AUDUSD, but a very, very ugly chart in my personal opinion. Overall, still some nice price action, and as of this morning, actually also very nice in the sense that we've now retraced in towards this demand zone. This demand zone here grabbed liquidity underneath this low with the liquidity swipe, and we had a nice break of structure here as well. So the way that I'm looking at this is a push down, retracement, push down, push up, retracement, here liquidity grabbing, then boom, confirmation upwards. Now we're inside of this demand zone. So what I would be looking for here on AUDUSD is a new long position, maybe on the lower time frame, looking at the 1 hour. Let's see if we can break the current fractal high and then get in some longs on this thing. Or you keep an eye on the 15-minute time frame. You can be a little bit more aggressive, wait for the current fractal high here on the 15-minute to break, and then get into a long position. Moving onwards into GBPUSD. GBPUSD here on the daily time frame, obviously very, very bullish at the moment. It flipped fractal bullish, but to be very, very honest, very consolidative. We have some big news coming out for the pound this week. If I'm not mistaken, we have on Wednesday inflation numbers for consumers year on year. This should definitely have a big impact on the pound. Overall, I'm kind of staying out of this for now because we can just see it's super, super consolidative. Not a lot to be said here on the daily. Also looking at the 4-hour time frame, we are currently just consolidating, so we're kind of coming back up into the premium of the overall swing range. So you could start keeping an eye again on some potential short positions, as we're currently here at the 75% mark. So preferably, I would see kind of like one more push up in towards the highs. Then this becomes your fractal low, and then we get in on shorts once that fractal low breaks again, and you kind of take profits here again at the lows. But yeah, that's kind of like for GU. Overall, just very consolidative and not very interesting at this point in time. Going into NZDUSD, we can see that NU is similar to pound dollar actually with its consolidative price action. Nothing really here for myself. Yesterday we saw a bullish daily candle close. Overall, fractals are still bearish with this being the current fractal high. Obviously, this being the current fractal low, short still makes sense, but the lower time frame being the 4-hour is bullish on the other hand, and is kind of like pushing the market up higher. After this break here, we can see the push up, the retracement, and now kind of like some bullish order flow going on with the sell for the buy here in control. So yeah, for myself, 4-hour kind of fighting with the daily, these are the kind of situations where I just preferably want to stay out of the market. I always want to be trading in line with the 4-hour and the daily preferably. Now going into dollar Swiss and dollar yen, dollar Swiss still looking for long positions from this area of daily demand. Yesterday we saw a nice liquidity grab underneath this low, which I mentioned as well in yesterday's outlook. We saw somewhat of a reversal, but not even the strength to break the current fractal high. That for now is the most important part. So what we could potentially see is another low sweep, then this becomes the current fractal high, and then once that breaks, that is when I'll be looking for long positions. So waiting here on the 4-hour time frame to shift in our favor before getting involved with any positions, but for now still interested in longs in line with the overall daily order flow. Dollar yen is similar, also still waiting for it to form. It's pushing down lower and lower here on the 4-hour time frame. We can see that the overall momentum is definitely in towards the downside. However, this is kind of like what we discussed in yesterday's video, right? We had the equal lows over here, we have this area of demand over here, and I'm now looking to see, can we get somewhat of a 4-hour change of character after tapping into that demand zone, and then look for those potential buy opportunities. And then last of all, we have gold. Gold itself, very consolidative. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, with Trump lying about the situation with Russia and Ukraine, I was expecting some further upside for gold, but gold has been relatively slow. For now, I mean, after tapping into daily demand, which is the pink zone that we have over here, we can see that the market started to reverse up higher. The 4-hour time frame gave us that bullish confirmation in the form of a fractal structure shift, with this being the fractal bearish order flow downwards. Then we shifted here with the 4-hour fractal break, and then we can see kind of like this V-shaped reversal up higher. And now I'm just waiting for the current fractal high to break again. That is the moment that I'll be fully interested in longs again to take out all of these descending highs that we have over here. So waiting for this to break, and then on the breakout I'll be looking for some buying opportunities. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Just a quick side note, there will not be a live session this afternoon here on the channel. The live session will be moved to tomorrow, which I'll be announcing the time in tomorrow's daily market outlook as I'm currently traveling. Thank you for watching. Wish you all a fantastic trading day, and we'll speak soon.